So today we are attending Systematic Literature Review class, the journey to produce credible thesis and high impact publication. Um, so this is very, very important, SLR, nowadays, especially, not those days when I started PhD about 10 to 12 years ago. I think about 12 years ago now. Yeah, 11 or 12 years ago. Systematic Literature Review was not as hot as what it is now because review papers were not easy to publish back then. So back then, review papers are very, very difficult to publish because it is on invitation basis. Okay, that means prominent people in the field, professors, very well-known researchers, they will be invited personally by the journals to come and publish their review papers. Okay, they'll provide a topic and then they'll be given a topic and they'll be granted a topic to write. But nowadays, the system had changed. A lot of review papers are coming in, and people are being encouraged to write review papers. And review papers have two advantages, very, very important advantages. Advantage number one, if you want to get citations, you want to build your research profile, review paper is the best way to go. Okay, because a lot of people who read your papers, they will try to get idea from your papers, and usually review papers, especially systematic review, will be very comprehensive in terms of coverage of the current, the past, the present, and what can happen in the future. So that's where review papers are very good. Okay, and systematic review, okay, the methodology of systematic way of conducting a review, the methodology gives very high credibility to the review process. So that's why systematic review is very, very important. So that's advantage number one. Now, for those who don't care about citation, I mean, students, they are new, they don't really know the benefits of citation. I can understand. You can keep advantage number one aside. Advantage number two is you can start writing your papers very, very early into your master's or PhD. That's where it plays a major role for students. For lecturers, academicians, the citation part is very important. Okay. The second part is also important for both students and academicians. Students, as soon as they write their chapters 1 to 3, they can start writing the systematic review papers. They don't need to wait until they collect data, design the instrument, get validation, do pilot, collect data, or build experimental system, build their models, build their protocol, then only can collect data and then write papers. You're already very close to your viva. And now this publication can take more than a year, sometimes more than 2 years. My paper took more than 2 years recently, okay, for Web of Science Q1 paper, systematic review as well. So why it's taking so long? Because more researchers are trying to publish papers, more students are trying to do PhD around the world, and there are far little journals to service all of us, okay? So Prof. Bala had stated here, dear Dr. Thava, for university, every PhD student compulsory publish 2 papers, either my site or Scopus or ISI. I strongly encourage students to publish in Scopus or ISI. That's how they show their credibility in research and publication. I totally agree to that. Not saying that my site is not good. My site is definitely good. But if you want to get global recognition, global visibility in terms of your research, that's why you're doing research, right? You want to communicate with other parts of the world to see how research is going, so that you're at the cutting edge of the research cycle. So Scopus and Web of Science definitely a way to go. And by default, Scopus and Web of Science papers will be indexed in my site already. So if you publish in Scopus and Web of Science, you will definitely get my site as well. My site means Malaysian citation. On the contrary, some journals in my site, you won't find it in Scopus or Web of Science. But usually, predominantly, Scopus and Web of Science can be found in my site. So it is only to your benefit if you publish minimum Scopus. ISI is very difficult. Web of Science, Web of Science is also known as ISI. Used to be known as ISI. Now it's known as Web of Science, SSCI, SCIE, AHCI, ESCI. All those are Web of Science. Those are quite difficult to publish. So I'm not saying don't publish, but it will take time. If you can take the challenges, you can have the patience and passion to publish in Web of Science, then definitely your CV will look far stronger than anyone else who only has Scopus papers. Web of Science definitely carry your CV. The ranking is very, very good in terms of Web of Science and global recognition, including Malaysian recognition as well. In Malaysia, if you can publish Web of Science, I think your profile will fly. Okay? But that, having said that, That doesn't mean Scopus is weak. Scopus is also good, definitely. So keep your minimum requirement as Scopus. So now you know the two advantages already. You don't need to wait until you collect your data to write a paper. As soon as you're done with your proposal, before even you go for proposal defense, you can start generating a systematic review papers already. Not one, you can generate at least 1 to 2 if you really want to. And then you can actually get it accepted even before you go for your Viva. And I can tell you, there are no quick publication. Quick publication all went down to drain. If you want to know why I say drain, became rubbish, look at MDP, look at MDPI, look at Frontiers, look at Elsevier, Helion. These are all having problems, already having problem, and they're only having more problems now. So more and more journals are getting kicked out from Scopus and Web of Science because they don't really look after their quality, and they rush through publication process just for money's sake, right? Because they're open access, right? So they actually make a lot of money by publishing quicker and more papers. So eventually, Scopus and Web of Science will do very strong, thorough auditing, and they will kick out those journals from their indexing. So then your paper, let's say, put it this way, you go on Facebook, okay? And then you found a lot of people advertising saying that, oh, I can get Scopus publication in 24 hours. We have Scopus publication in 1 week, Scopus publication in 1 month. All those are lies. No one can tell you in this world, not yet at least, how long a paper will take to get into publication or acceptance. No one can tell. Even the editor cannot promise you that. Okay, even the editor, chief editor cannot promise you that, because it comes down to how long they take to carry out the process. Then they send to the reviewers. Okay, they send to their reviewers. Reviewers must accept to review the paper, and then they must review it on time. They must send back the review process. Then you get revision. You must do the revision, send back, satisfy the reviewers. They must check again. They will again send you another review. Sometimes you need to redo again. From minor can become major, from major can become minor, until you get acceptance. It all takes time. All this whole cycle takes time. There is no quick publication. That's why I'm advocating to everyone. Don't get conned by these scammers, white-collar crimes. Okay, white-collar criminals all over Facebook and Instagram. They all just trying to make money. They'll take your money, they'll run away. You don't even know where they are in this world. Many people got conned because of that. Many academicians got conned. Many students got conned, not only in Malaysia, but in many different countries. That's why I went on to advocate and advise many people, don't waste their money. Publication will take time. You need to have patience, and therefore start planning early. Start writing a review paper early so that you can get acceptance before even you, maybe some people, some of our clients, some of my students, they get acceptance even before they go and collect their data. Some of them, right after collecting the data, they already get 2 acceptance or maybe 1 acceptance. So, they're on the way to securing their requirements. So plan early, start early, don't wait. Okay. Nazira said, I got 1 year delay myself. Actually, it's not delay. Okay, it's just how long the journal takes. As much as we are unhappy why they take that long. Example, this paper of mine that I co-authored with Prof. Effie from UMT, Dr. Harold from UPM, and few other supervisors and their students. Rain, go away, come again another day, do climate variations, enhance the spread of COVID-19. Okay. This paper took us almost 2 years and 2 months to get it accepted. We went through about 3 to 4 rejections, and then finally BMC. BMC is a very, very good journal. Okay. BMC, this paper has Web of Science Q1 impact factor 10.8, if I'm not mistaken, for 2022. Very, very strong journal. But though it is open access, and since it has very high impact, the review process took time. So it took us in total from the first submission to a journal until acceptance in this particular journal about 2 years and 2 months. Okay, that's how long it can take. Okay, open access, I won't say all of it are bad, and I won't say all of it are good. Journals like MDPI, when they started off initially, they were very good. Okay, but eventually down the line, I think greed took over the ethics. Okay, greed sort of shadowed the quality, so they had a very, very bad quality papers. Okay. Frontiers were the same. Initially, they were very good. I have published both in MDPI and Frontiers before. So I know during the beginning part of their process, their review process was very tedious. But along the way, they became kind of easy. Okay. But then there are other open access journals like this BMC, PLOS One, IEEE Access, what is the other one? Scientific reports from Nature. All these are very, very difficult journals to publish. Okay. Helion was very difficult as well, Elsevier, but along the way, I don't know what happened. They were now kind of kicked out from Web of Science because I think there was some discrepancies in the acceptance. So I'm not saying all open access are bad. There are some bad fruits. Okay. But overall, if you go with the right publishing companies, they are usually good. Okay. So now let's get into the topic. I'm going to skip this, and this also. Oh, this one I cannot skip. Okay, so I'm coming from Proofreading by UK PhD. We are a consulting firm based in Cyberjaya. I'm the founder, and we are about 10 to 11 years old now, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we are becoming 10 to 11 years old now. Okay, so we are working very closely with all the universities in Malaysia and several universities overseas as well, of foreign countries. We are an ISO 9001 2015 certified academic consulting firm, and these are total amount of documents we have worked on so far, and this is our presence globally, okay, where we work with, and still currently working with many different academicians and students all over the world. So for today's class, we're going to specifically focus on publication, and whatever I'm going to teach you today, you can also use for your thesis or proposal if you want to, because some proposals, some thesis, the supervisors want them to use systematic review, so you can use it as well. And we're also going to share a bit on thesis to journal conversion, okay, a bit on that, and also the importance of language. Very, very important, actually. Okay, so I can see that you guys are already keyboard warriors. You're asking a lot of questions, so we keep it at that, which is very good. Continue asking questions. Now, for those who are joining my class for the first time, okay, so for all those first timers, if you go to Facebook, right? If you don't have Facebook, that's okay. You can just create a profile. Don't even need to put your name, and then just have it for the sake of learning. Okay, because somehow Facebook is designed to be a very good location to do live and store all the classes. Those days when I started in 2020, and I continued that tradition, and I just stored all the classes in Facebook itself. But nowadays I also store in YouTube, but this year I did not do that much of live. I just do direct classes with universities. That also I don't have enough time. So this is our Facebook page. You can check it out. I've given the link already. You can click that link, like and follow if you want to. Like and follow for your own benefit, not for me to collect followers. I don't collect anymore. I think I have enough already. Okay, so if I scroll down here, you can find a lot of important notes, a lot of important classes that I share on daily basis. Okay. So whatever that you have problem, whatever issues that you're having, you can find a lot of slides and resources here. Okay. So log in, go and read it whenever you need it. Okay. So then once you go down here, you can also click more. You can go to videos. Under videos, you can find all the latest classes. Okay, now this class is currently the most popular class. Chapter 1, 1.3, problem statement. Okay, problem statement class here, I think is being widely watched by people, students all over the world. And then if you go down further, you can find a complete playlist of all my classes for free. Okay, for free. So if you click this see all, you can find thesis development, traditional ChatGPT based. People charge for this class. I've given it for free. Okay, all the knowledge that I have in ChatGPT, I've shared it here. Literature review, AI tool, Web of Science, ChatGPT for thesis writing again. Literature review template, problem statement series 1, background, introduction, literature review, fast high impact journal, structuring thesis chapters 1 to 5, and on and on and on. Okay, many different classes here that you can go and watch and learn. All right, so I've shared it with all of you. I can also share the playlist as well. Okay, so I leave that to you guys to go and watch and learn. And then apart from that, we also have a lot of templates. Okay, some of the templates we'll be using today. These are free templates that you can download from my Telegram group as well. Okay, so we got literature search databases, which is important for systematic review. What databases to use? Critical literature review, important for systematic review, or any common literature review. Literature summary, literature matrix, So all these templates, actually, I thought it won't be useful anymore after the emergence of AI. Okay, because it's AI everywhere, right? So I thought it won't be useful anymore. But then after the emergence of AI now, more and more students wanting these templates because of the hallucination, fake information, and not so reliable information from AI. So they tend to use that for some other purposes, and then they still come back and look at the core knowledge on how to narrate or write or express a certain section. So here I've already break down what you exactly need to do in every section: problem statement, systematic literature review, table of content for different thesis types, and then this full table of content for quantitative thesis, proposal, defense, viva questions, database hierarchy for systematic review, what databases to use, and then introduction and what kind of comments you normally will get from proposal, defense, and so on and so forth. Okay, so all these you can download for free from my Telegram group. Okay, so you can scan the QR code, or you can just click this link. Let me share it now very quickly. Okay, that is the link. If you click that link, you'll basically arrive here. You can click the subscribe button here. Okay, as soon as you click the link.tree/Dr. Thava, click the subscribe button, fill up your email so that any new updates that I basically advertise here or I exhibit here, you'll be notified. Okay, any new live classes and so on. So most likely, I'll be starting off on some live classes towards the end of this month before we start next year, and early next year, I'll be having more live classes also. Usually, year end and beginning of the year, I will start attempting to plan schedule timeline for students for next year. Okay, so keep an eye on my live classes. You'll be notified. Okay, so make sure you subscribe here, and then these are all the resources you can find from me. Okay, all the free notes of all the previous classes you can download from here. My YouTube channel, if you're a YouTube kind of person, you can subscribe to my YouTube here. And then all the free video classes from Facebook, you can find it here. Okay, there you go. So you can find all of it here. And then you can also go to the Telegram group here. Telegram group is very, very important because that is where you can get all the templates. Okay, so now we are coming to the actual class. Okay, so we have 5 different segments we want to cover. We have why systematic review and where to publish them, types of review papers, systematic review process, databases AI and non-AI, when to write SLR papers. Okay, so when I conducted my physical class, systematic review physical class in UPM, many students asked me about AI tools, especially 2 important tools. Okay, one was Ryan, another one was something else. Okay, they asked me whether it's trustable or not. Okay, so if you ask me, I don't know. Okay, I wouldn't want to waste my money on a tool that I don't know whether it's reliable or not, because systematic review is a very, very tedious process. Okay, I wouldn't want hallucination. If you don't know what is hallucination in AI, hallucination means providing not real information. It will provide fake information. So you must be very careful. So you must make sure that every information you state in the paper must be true. It cannot be made up information. AI is very good at that. So whatever you do, I'll show you an example later. Whatever you do, whatever information that you get from AI, it's not wrong to use AI. I mean, use it ethically, definitely. I'm very sure universities and your supervisors would have taught you how to use AI tools. Use it ethically, but more than ethics, don't don't stop investigating whether the information is true or false. Don't just copy and paste information. Okay, because you'll have 2 important problems. One, you'll have Turnitin AI problem. Okay, Turnitin AI problem. Turnitin AI is way more advanced than what you think it is. Okay, because now Turnitin AI got 2 categories to detect. For those who don't know, Turnitin AI got 2 categories now. Okay, so what are the 2 categories? One will tell you whether you copied directly from AI tool or not, or the whole sentence, whether you proofread from it, you copied from it, you ask the flow to write for you, whatever it is, okay, or you ask the flow to paraphrase for you and so on. The first category. The second category, once you get the flow to write for you, and you take the information, you get Quillbot, undetectable AI, what is the other one? All these paraphrasing tool, when you get them to paraphrase for you, that will be detected under category 2. For those who don't know how Turnitin AI works, they will be categorized under category 2. This is something new. Recently they launched. Okay, so the first one will tell you that you use AI to write. Second one will tell you that the second category will tell everyone, whoever scans your thesis or journal or proposal, will tell that you use AI to write, and you use AI to paraphrase to cover up that you use AI to write. That is category 2. Now, this is the recent launch. So I did a video on that. So you can find it on my TikTok. This is the video, 1.4 million views. This is the latest update. Okay, so I'll give you the link to my TikTok. You can watch. I've done 2 experiments. One is on undetectable AI, whether it works or not for with Turnitin AI. And then one more is this with Quillbot. Okay, this also hit more than 100,000 views. Quillbot versus Turnitin AI. So both also detectable under category 2. So Turnitin can tell you this one student took from AI, and then they use tools to paraphrase. So be very, very careful. And the worst part is, as I've always shared with you guys, Turnitin AI column, that box cannot be seen by students. Only instructor account or library account can be seen. So you need instructor access to be able to see that scanning. Okay, the normal Turnitin, no one cares about it nowadays. Okay, Scopus AI is something that I'll be working on for next year's class. You will know more about it next year, or maybe end of this year. We'll see how. Okay, maybe the first class next year we'll talk about more about Scopus AI. Okay, all right. Will paraphrasing AI directly also means cheating and lead to failure? I don't know, Kusai. You need to check with your supervisor, because now universities are giving the responsibility to supervisors. This is what I heard from UTM and UM and so on. I don't know about UMK, to be fair. They're giving the responsibility to supervisors to determine whether the student did honest work, the student wrote on his own, and just use Grammarly, because Grammarly will be detected by AI as well. Grammarly will be detected, can be detected. So whether the student wrote with AI and then paraphrase with AI tools, or the student actually wrote on his own, or just get idea from AI and then just use Grammarly to improve, or use ChatGPT to improve the writing. So either way, it's a very gray area. So if I were you, I would tread very carefully. Okay, I would tread very, very carefully. Okay, so that is that. I'll leave it to you guys. And yesterday I released new video on a background template. Chapter 1 background template. So if you have not seen the template, you can go and watch this video. Okay, so that is that. Now let's go to types of journal papers. Okay, so before we're going to go backwards, I'm going to tell you what kind of papers you can write, and then along the way we'll cascade how to find journals and how to write the paper in a way. Okay, within this short time that we have, I will try to cover as much as I can. So firstly, you got 2 kind of papers. You got empirical papers, you got review papers. These are the most widely written papers nowadays. So empirical papers, very clear. You need to have data. You need to wait until you collect the data, produce the data, or get questionnaire, and all this process. That will take time to achieve. Okay, because that is almost towards the end of your research already. So what you need to do, you need to start writing review papers at the very early stage of your PhD or master's to fulfill your graduation requirement. Whether it's your passion to write papers, or whether it's just a requirement that you want to fulfill, that is up to you. Okay, that is your personal interest. But nonetheless, for PhD students, normally you will need 2 Scopus papers or Web of Science papers, or for masters, 1 paper at least. Okay. So since there are 1 to 2 papers required to fulfill, start early, because publication process takes time. The quicker they publish, the sooner the journal will be kicked out from Scopus or Web of Science. So don't be happy if the journal is accepting too fast. Okay, especially if they accept the first review, they just tell you go and proofread. Go and proofread, improve the language, and then add a bit of words here and there, and then you are done. When they say that, something is really, really wrong. That means they're only after your money. Okay, they're not really bothered about academic knowledge, because no journals for any authors, even my professors back in the UK with 26,000 citations, they even don't get acceptance and just ask to do proofread. No, never. They will get a lot of scrutiny, a lot of comments. they have to address all those comments. These are professors with 26,000 citations. So trust me, when you don't get comments from journal, that is a bit scary, okay? Because it might be kicked out from Scopus and your paper will be removed along with it, okay? Now, why systematic review? These are some histories related to systematic review. It started in 1753, and then in the 70s and 80s, it got a lot of attention, but mostly used in medical sciences. Mostly. Only now in the recent, I would say 3 to 4 years, systematic review moved significantly to social science, to business management, management area, to information system, engineering, computer science, physics, chemical, even chemistry. It's very, very new to do systematic review. Okay. These are all the reasons why you do systematic review. If you ask me, there's only one reason why you do systematic review, because it is very well recognized, and that's the first reason. Now, why is it well recognized? Because you cannot be biased when you do systematic review. In systematic review, you will reveal what is your RQ, what is your databases used, what are the keywords you used, what is a search string that you constructed, one search string or many search string, according to databases. Then what are the total number of papers that you received or you collected, and then how did you filter, how did you get the final number, how did you screen through, all that you need to explain. So some reviewers will actually go and redo the experiment. Okay, they will redo your process to see whether they're getting the numbers very closely related to yours or not. But let's say you are reporting total papers 400, okay, and then the exact same thing they do and they are getting 1,500. You are in trouble. You are in trouble. Okay, so you must be very careful of what you're reporting. Let's say um, you search and you got 400, and then they're doing a search, they're getting 550, 600, still okay. Because you know why? By the time you finish writing and you send for publication, it might be already 6 months or 5 months or maybe 8 months. Some people even 1 year. Okay, some people even 1 year. And by the time the paper reaches the reviewers, it will be another 6 months to maybe 1 year. Okay, so all in all, it will be about 1 year plus before it reaches the reviewers. Okay, so you can say in that number of, in that period, in that window, many papers can be added, okay, to the databases. So you cannot really claim that, oh, why I got 100 extra, why I got 200 extra. It could be from those databases with the latest papers. Okay? How? Okay, this one I'll explain to you later with my comprehensive 12-step systematic review process. Okay? All right. Now, before we start writing, you need to find suitable journals. I mean, if you're a new author writing for the first time, you need to find journals first before you start writing. That is better for you because the word count, the word length, whether the journal will accept systematic review or not, all this will be easier for you. People like us, when we are very experienced, when I write my own papers, I don't really check all this. I write the papers first. If they want me to reduce, I can easily reduce. They want me to add, I can easily add. I can move very quickly because I'm very used to the process. But for newcomers, always look at which journal you want to submit first. So example, this is a journal, okay, from MDPI. I'm not encouraging to submit to MDPI. I'm just showing example how a journal will normally state the requirements. So here the journal clearly stated, okay, articles, original research manuscript. That means your empirical paper with data, the paper with data. And then one more, they say reviews. These provide concise and precise updates on the latest progress made in a given area of research. Systematic review should follow the Prisma guideline. So this one clearly stated systematic review. So we know. It's very, very clear. Now, for this kind of journal, you don't need to worry. You can just submit. You know that, they accept systematic review. Okay. Now, this journal, Elsevier Journal of Business Research. Now, there's a very good question from Mohammed. What is the difference between systematic review and bibliometric review? Bibliometric review is a process that you carry out, okay, to do a review process. Systematic review is a methodology that you carry out. Okay, it's not exactly a process. It is also process in a way, but it's more on a stringent methodology. Bibliometric got no methodology. Okay, it's a process that you follow. You use connected papers or use lead map, you go through every citation, you do snowballing and so on and so forth. Nowadays, what we encourage our students, okay, students, our mentees, our students that we coach, we combine systematic review and bibliometric together to make it even more stronger. So there is a process and a very strong methodology that put in place together. Okay, we combine the forces. So you can do bibliometric standalone, or you can do bibliometric with systematic review as well. Okay, you can do both. Now, in this case, this kind of journal of business research from Elsevier, very, very good journal. Okay, I think impact factor is more than 11 or more than 12 now. Very, very strong journal, Q1 top 10 journal. If you read the requirements here, especially the final line here, published for executives, researchers, and scholars alike. The journal aids the application of empirical research to practical situations and theoretical findings to the reality of the business world. Okay, so again, published for executives, researchers, and scholars alike. The journal aids the application of empirical research to practical situations and theoretical findings to the reality of the business world. So you can see three important note here. Okay, so it can be empirical research, it can be practical situations, or theoretical findings. Now, I have a question for all of you. Okay, for questions to all of you. Under these three categories, do you think this journal is suitable for systematic review? For those who have answered me before, don't answer, you can leave it. Okay. For those who are going to answer me for the first time, you can tell me whether yes, no, or don't know. Can you submit a review paper or systematic review paper to this particular journal? I'll let you all answer. So now, let's find out. What is the best way to find out? It is always Google Scholar. For those who do research nowadays, I mean new students, they might not use Google Scholar, okay, because they are already exposed immediately to AI tools and so on. But I can tell you, there are no tools in the world that is as complete as Google Scholar with all the bibliometric information, all the paper information, completely comprehensive. So never stop using Google Scholar. It is free and supremely powerful if you know how to use it. Okay, a lot of students are getting into trouble because AI tools can only access open access journals. Okay, just now we had a lot of queries, right? Open access got quartile or not, and so on. Open access journals means you don't need to pay a fee to read the journal. The authors already paid the fee. Okay, I already paid 10,000 or 15,000 or 8,000 or 7,000 to make sure that the journal forever becomes open access. Okay, and a lot of people tend to not do very well. A lot of journals tend to deviate from, being very good when it's open access because they tend to see a lot of money. Another type of journals is known as subscription-based journals. Okay, those subscription are the journals that you cannot simply go and read. If you go to Elsevier website, Taylor and Francis, and so on, you cannot open the journal. I think many of you would have realized that. Then you will need to access through your university. Okay, your university will have a repository where you will log in and you go and access those Elsevier journal, Taylor, Francis, Wiley, Emerald, and so on. Sage. If you realize, most subscription-based journals are usually the top journals. They don't like to make it open access. They're usually hybrid. You can choose to make it open access, but you have to pay very expensive pricing, or you can just publish for free. Okay, those journals usually they maintain very, 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 very high quality. Okay, and it takes very, very long time to publish in those journals. I'm not downgrading open access. I love open access because they're usually fast, but nowadays they are not. They're actually taking time. Mine took more than 2 years. I don't like to wait. I would prefer to be fast, but that doesn't work anymore. Nowadays, open access after the MDPI and Frontiers fiasco, they are actually taking more time than the free journals to publish. Okay, so the problem is once you have open access, you have subscription-based journal, right? So subscription-based journals made up of 90% of the literature out there. Most of it, Web of Science, are 90% subscription-based. They are not open access. You go to Elsevier, you go to Sage, you go to Emerald, you go to Taylor Francis, Wiley, Blackwell Publishing, IEEE, American Journal of Society, Chemical, Business Management, all these journals, they are all closed access. They are not open access. Okay. That means your universities are paying to a body like Open Athens, so that Open Athens will pay to these journals so that you can access those journals. So there is a massive firewall that blocks from other parties to access these journals because the IP is now sold to the journals. Okay, the intellectual property is being sold to these universities. That is why AI cannot access most of the journals. It can only access open access most of the time. Most of the review, most of the information comes from open access only, most of the time. Okay. AI cannot read and tell you information deep within a subscription-based journal. That will lead to this Elsevier, Taylor Francis, and so on to sue the AI tool. They will sue because they have already infringed IP. Okay, without paying for license. So therefore, that is why Google Scholar is very, very important because Google Scholar covers all the journal. It's the most comprehensive database in the world. 3 databases you shouldn't stop using. Scopus database, Web of Science database. If you're using AI within Scopus, very good because it is Scopus' own AI. So it will be accessible to all the journals that Scopus index. Oh, yeah, Scopus index. Web of Science also probably will have its own AI very soon, and Google Scholar. These 3 are the most comprehensive databases in the world, okay, where you can find all the top quality journals. AI tools most of the times will only show you all the open access journals, not most of the time, all the time. Okay, so that is where you need to balance. You use AI to summarize, you use AI to read, AI to search for you. You also go and do manual search. For bachelor student, diploma student, I'm not really bothered, okay, because they're not creating anything new. They're just doing FYP and so on. But for master students, master students and PhD students, you are creating something new. And AI is never meant to design something new for you. Never. That's not the function of AI. So that's why you still need to do your self-study. Okay? All right. So now coming to Google Scholar, you want to find out whether that journal accepts or don't accept systematic review paper. So you go to this burger button, we call this burger button, and then you go down at one search. Okay. For those who never use advanced search before, this is very, very powerful. Okay. All the Boolean operators are integrated in this search. So you don't need to every time type and or not, put what they call the quotation mark all the time. This will do it for you. Okay. So I'm going to type in exact phrase systematic review. This is considered quotation mark, exact phrase. Okay. Then written articles published in Journal of Business Research, specifically this journal. And then I search. Okay. Now I go to the latest 5 years. Okay. 2020 to 2024. And then I can see Journal of Business Research, Elsevier, systematic review. Journal of Business Research, Elsevier, systematic review. Journal of Business Research, Elsevier, systematic review. So all of this. So now all of you tell me, can or cannot? Systematic review in Journal of Business Research. Yes, can. So it's good that you guys deduce the information earlier. You guys try to interpret the information. But if you're not sure next time, this is how you find out. Actually, Google Scholar is the best place for you to find out which journal you can publish papers in. If you know how to search it properly, you can actually find the most suitable journal for you to go and publish your paper. Okay. Types of review papers. Now, these are all the types of review papers there are that you can actually look at. Now, review papers, the most common ones are 3 types. Okay. We have the most common ones, narrative review, methodology. I'm talking about methodology, narrative review, systematic literature review, or scoping review. These are the most common ones. There are many. There are anti-integrative review. There is Cochrane review. Many, many different types lah. Okay. So narrative, SLR, scoping. These 3 are the most common ones. Now, blue ones are all narrative. Okay. Ignore them. Don't write narrative review. Narrative review is the one that you write in your chapter 2 thesis or chapter 2 proposal. Your normal literature review, right? That is called narrative review. There are no rules to follow. There is no rules to follow. There is no protocol to follow. There is no methodology. You can do whatever you want, whatever. Let's say you download 100 papers, 60 papers you don't understand. You can sweep it under the carpet. You can just focus on the 40 papers. You can do all of that. Okay, that's why narrative reviewers don't recognize it that well. Not that you cannot publish, you can publish, but it will take a lot of effort to publish your narrative review, especially in good Scopus journals and Web of Science journals. Okay, so we have completely stopped writing narrative review. Okay, I myself completely stop writing narrative review. I only focus on systematic review. Okay, for my own papers. For students also, I always advise them, look at systematic review. Forget narrative review because you have very limited time. Don't do experiments. You want to do experiment, do it within systematic review. Don't do something that is already known to be, to fail. So all this blue color are all narrative review. Okay. Red colors are all systematic literature review. So we have mapping review, systematic map. This is how you map the journals, map the information. Meta-analysis, this is something you do after systematic review. You must do statistical analysis. Then you have qualitative systematic review, qualitative evidence synthesis. Okay, for those who are doing qualitative, this is the paper you need to write in terms of systematic review. Okay, so systematic map, meta-analysis, qualitative systematic review, which you'll use thematic analysis. Okay. For meta-analysis, you will do quanti. Okay. Same goes to systematic map also. There will be certain quanti involved. There's slight variations between these different types of papers, but don't worry about this. I'm just sharing what kind of papers there are. Then ignore all the blue colors. Look at the remaining red colors: systematic review, systematic search and review, systematized review. Okay, so you can see all these three are almost common. Okay. What is known? Recommendations for practice. What remains for unknown? Uncertainty around findings. Recommendation for future research. What is known? What is known? Recommendation of practice. Limitations. What is known? Uncertainty around findings. Limitation of methodology. So you can see that here, systematized review don't talk about future research. Okay. Systematic review, on the other hand, talks about future research. All these slight variations, which you can ignore. You can just focus on systematic review. Don't need to worry. Okay. Now, the final bit is scoping review. Scoping review only got one type. Just focus on scoping review. That's it. Okay. Scoping review and systematic review. What are the differences? Okay. What are the differences? So that is something I will teach you when we go down the slides. Okay. Okay. So now these are very, very good sample review papers that we have personally coached, proofread and paraphrased. Okay, we have coached from the inception of the paper until publication. So I know what these papers went through. Bibliometric is a process. It is not a methodology. Okay, bibliometric is just a process. It's what I earlier mentioned. Nah. So just now what we saw was only methodology. Okay, so sample review paper, social science. This is a very good paper from Dr. Kashif, used to be in UTP. This is a paper that we looked into very, very long ago. I think, 3 years ago, 2021. A very, very good paper to look at as a sample. It's a very beautifully written paper. Okay, it focuses on soft and hard TQM practices, future research agenda for Industry 4.0. Okay, published in SSCI Q1, Web of Science, impact factor 3.67. Okay, these are some of the key diagrams added in the paper which you must have. Not all the topics will have. Some topics don't need to have this, but it's good to have if you want to. Analyzed over 25 years of data on TQM practices. Okay, which shows a very good slowly steeping curve, which shows the emergence of the area, the importance of the area. Okay, then this part shows the databases that was used. These are all diagrams on the paper. Search string, what are the full search string designed, how they designed it, and then finally the Prisma diagram. Just show you the key items normally they put in the papers. This you can also put it into writing. Not necessarily must have a diagram, but these two diagrams this one definitely nice to have. This is compulsory. Okay. Then for those from health sciences, medical, and so on, these are sample review papers. Okay, medical area or on dental. This also we coach until publication. Okay, this covered meta-analysis, far more difficult. Okay, meta-analysis is a very difficult paper to write. Okay, focus on prenatal health status of children and adolescents with diabetes mellitus, a systematic review and meta-analysis. Okay, So this is SCIQ2 impact factor 2.419. Okay. Um, if you observe here, apart from the normal diagrams, they also have something called tree chart. Tree chart is what reports meta-analysis, is what reports all the statistical analysis. Okay. Normally, you have, let's say, you move from point A to point B, systematic review. If you have more information, then you move from point B to point C for meta-analysis. Okay, then finally engineering paper. So we did social science already. Then we did social science. We did what was it? Medical, and now we are doing engineering. Okay, engineering paper. Engineering paper is a very difficult paper to write for review, for systematic review. So this under Journal of Building Engineering, very very good journal. The student and the supervisor really struggle to publish the systematic review under engineering in Web of Science journal. They really struggle. Scopus should be okay, but Web of Science is a struggle here. Okay. So then we started coaching, then we proofread and paraphrase. The first thing we did was we advised them to convert their sort of their concept of engineering into a very simple conceptual framework. This is a conceptual framework, which conceptualize the overall ideas for easy explanation. See, review paper shouldn't be extremely technical. People won't read. Okay, you won't get much of an audience. That will become empirical paper. So review paper, though you come from technical area, you must make it as generalized as possible for review purposes. Okay, so this one, SCIQ1 impact factor 5.318, particularly focusing on issues. Then the overall idea for engineering students here, very important. The overall whatever idea that they propose, they have conceptualized the overall sentiment here. Okay. Then, of course, the Prisma diagram. So all these samples are attached in my Telegram group. You can download and read it from there. Okay. Now we are going into systematic versus scoping review. Systematic is something that we do down the funnel. Okay, let's say you already initiated a topic, you know what you're going to do, and then you already have a kind of a clear RORQ. And then based on that very specific RQ, you start designing your systematic review. Okay, so must be a very specific question, subject specific known. You can do it quantitatively or qualitatively, depending on the scope of your methodology. You can do all the review process. On the other hand, scoping review, okay, one more point I forgot, systematic review. You can only include empirical papers, okay, as part of your review apparatus or review papers that you include. All must be empirical based. That is the basic rule of systematic review. Okay, Prisma ruling. On the other hand, for scoping review, the same funnel, okay, but you start at the top. When you're still exploring the topic, when you're still exploring what RORQ you want to use, what gap you want to look at, you start at the very top of the funnel. That means you're still at the very beginning stage of your research. So no specific topic addresses a very broad topic, provides an overview of the available research evidence without producing a summary answer to very specific question. So here the RQ will be more general, scoping. Okay, that's why the name indicates scoping. You're scoping a particular research area. Okay. So those are the difference between systematic and scoping. Depending you are in which part of your research, you can do either systematic or scoping. Okay. So on the other hand, in other words, if you already finished your chapter 1 to 3, this would be the most suitable. Let's say if you want to write a paper right at the beginning of your research, okay, just starting off, you already want to write a paper, then scoping review is very suitable. Okay. Now, coming here, this is my 12 steps consulting framework. Whether academicians or students or government research bodies, when they want to write papers, this is the diagram that I refer to. Students, we also talk about thesis and proposal consulting also. Okay, so this is the 12 steps diagram, the journey. This is the journey of a student when they want to write their proposal and concurrently write their papers as well. So it includes 12 steps to complete. First step, okay, this is proposal stage. This is thesis stage. The same diagram can be used for masters as well. There are two phases here, right in the middle split. There is proposal and thesis. Same process can also be used for masters. Okay, just the depthness would be different, but overall process can be interchangeably looked at, the process. Okay. There's a question for scoping review. Is it also limited? No, scoping review you can include. I forgot to mention that. Scoping review you can include empirical, you can include white papers, you can include review papers, you can include industrial papers, government policies. You can include many different apparatus when you're conducting scoping review. Okay, that is the freedom that you get when you do scoping review. Okay, these are the ruling, but still systematic review. Sometimes we can find review papers. Sometimes, okay. That they incorporate into systematic review. If you get through with your reviewers don't really realize, then you just move on with it. Okay, now coming here, when you start your proposal, I always encourage students, always, okay, I encourage students to start with 10 pages proposal, always. Why? Because you need to keep your supervisor informed on what you decide to do, what you want to do, okay, what you want to focus on. So 10 pages proposal will basically tell your supervisor what is the title, RO, RQ, problem statement, your conceptual framework or your solution, what theory you're going to use, what methodology, and so on. Within 10 pages only, you should be able to inform already. So before you go and start your chapters 1 to 3, you can get a sort of approval from your supervisor on whether you are on the right track or not. That is very helpful for you in the long term, because you don't want to write this directly, these chapters 1 to 3, 50 to 80 pages directly, and then get scrapped later. Okay, you don't want that. I've seen that many times. That is why I always encourage students to start with 10 pages proposal. After that, go and write your chapters 1 to 3 once your supervisor is happy here. Or if your supervisor is asking more information, that means they're interested in that topic already. They want to know more. Then you move on to write your chapters 1 to 3. Then you can conduct proofreading process, very, very crucial. Okay. Proofreading is not matter of just improving language only. Okay. It's not just language only. Contextually, whether you are right or not, whether it makes sense or not. That's where human-based proofreading is very, very important. That will avoid you getting into the pit hole. Okay, that is the difference that an AI cannot do versus a human being. Okay, human being who only checks the language, doesn't really care about the content, that is a bad proofreader. That I strongly discourage. When you send for proofreading, beyond language, people like us, we will also look at the content. We will try to see whether it makes sense on. That's why we'll put a lot of comments, a lot of queries, if you like. Not really sure what you're trying to do. Okay, that is where human-based proofreading plays a major role. Okay, but of course, if you're confident of your content, if you think Grammarly is more than enough, if you can avoid Turnitin AI, then go ahead with Grammarly. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, then from there, prepare for your defense. Okay, normally we'll coach step by step. And then here, defense will coach students if they don't get mock defense from your supervisor, if they want someone else to, really scrutinize them, the whole process, then step number 4 will be very, very helpful for you guys. Then this is the drop point. If you see here, this is the drop point right after chapter 1 to 3. Start working on your journals already. Concept paper and systematic review paper. So that means at the very early stage, before even you go for your defense, you already started writing your paper. So that means you're already fulfilling your requirements very early into your research. Okay. Then after your defense, whether you get major or minor correction, these two we will coach students how to address the comments. Make sure you address every comments. Don't take your internal examiners for granted. Don't. Okay, don't take them for granted. If they give you comments, if I were you, I would address it hook or crook. I would not crook lah. Hook or hook, I will address it. Okay, because this report later will be referred during your internal examination by your internal examiner during your Viva. And most likely, one of the examiners of your PD will be your internal examiner during Viva. That is the usual tradition. So you don't want to offend them. Make sure you address every comments. Once you address the comments, then only you go and build your instrument, your system, your experiment, your quasi-experimental, your qualitative interview script and whatnot, validate and so on, and start collecting your data here. Okay, we normally work on SPSS, AMOS, Smart PLS, eViews, NVivo, Atlas TI, Python, MATLAB, many different areas that we work on. Okay, Vignesh is a Question, Doctor, is it true the journal articles we choose to review in our review writing should be quality checked by experts? That is quality assessment. It's part of systematic review process. And yes, it is true. You need to, not many does it, but if you do it, it'll be better. Okay, but usually medical sciences would be very strict in that perspective. Okay, other field, not really. So quality assessment, you have to do. If you do, it'll be good. If you never do, then just write a brief review of that. Okay. Um, you can conduct your own quality review. You can say I did it together with my supervisor. You can do that. Okay. We and the co-authors carried out quality assessment independently. You can say that. Okay. Scoping review as well. Quality assessment is required. Okay. So here, after step number 7, you collect your data, everything, analysis all finished. Complete your chapters 4 and 5. Okay. By this time, you're already almost close to your Viva. So then you combine chapters 1 to 5, you align them. You only expand your thesis here. Don't write very long proposal, 150 pages, 200 pages of proposal. No point. No point. Keep your proposal simple. 80 pages, 70 pages enough. Go for proposal defense first. You can expand it later. Once you've got your data, the data will tell you what is the actual outcome. Your discussion chapter will tell. Based on that, then you go back to your chapters 1 to 3. You expand the chapters 1 to 3. You blow it out, okay? And you update all the references. Then you'll have a better perspective. No point writing lengthy proposals when you don't even know whether the research is going to, how it's going to shape during your defense. Okay, no point. All right? So, and examiners don't really like very lengthy proposals, because lengthy proposals means you're just going to add not really, I wouldn't say invaluable, it's going to add unnecessary information. Okay, once you get your discussion done, your result done, then you'll have a better perspective of what to add. Okay, once that is done, you can start extracting more journals if you want to. Empirical papers, I would strongly encourage you to write, because it's very easy to publish, to be honest to you. But the only problem is why I say write early, because if you see, here empirical papers and your Viva is here. The timeline is very close. You won't have time to get acceptance. There won't be sufficient time. So start early. Okay. So once you finish, if you want to do this, you can do, or you want to focus on finishing your thesis, you can finish. Make sure you get a human to proofread your thesis. This is the final step. Okay. Don't leave your fate to software. Leave your fate to good human beings who can edit, whether it's a supervisor, whether it's a friend that you know. Make sure their language is very, very good. Make sure they understand the context, and they will actually critically proofread. Okay. Okay, then from there, after the proofreading, we normally provide lifetime language warranty. Whichever case that we proofread, we will provide lifetime language warranty. Okay, from there, prepare for your Viva. Okay, defense, same process. Okay, your slides must be more diagrams than wording. Okay, more diagrams than wording. If you have more wordings, if you look at the slides and you read, you're going to have a lot of trouble during your Viva and defense, because examiners will have their perceived uh, uh their not perceived behavior, their perceived prediction, okay, of your understanding towards the topic would be very negative if you're just reading from the slide. Everyone will feel the same. If you're confident just using diagram, okay, and then you explain based on that, that will be even better. Okay, then from there, make sure you do mock Viva. Very, very important to do mock Viva. Have time with your supervisor to do mock Viva. Okay? Go for your Viva, come out of it like a star, and finish your Viva correction. Okay? It's okay if you get minor. No correction is, of course, the best. We managed to get one student no correction last year, Dr. Sharifa Maisara from UM. Okay? So, but it's very rare, very rare case. Then we got minor correction is normal. Major correction is also okay, because you get more time. Okay, get more time to address the correction. Trust me, once you finish your PhD, no one will ask you got major or minor correction. No one will ask you. No one will be bothered. No one will be bothered. You get your doctor title done, you move on. Okay. What you don't want to get is major correction with reviva or complete failure. Those two you don't want to get. Okay. So make sure you do your Viva properly. Now, supervisors don't stick to our plans. Okay, that is something I don't want to comment. Okay, that is between you and your supervisor. You have to handle it. I don't want to comment on that. All right. So this is the entire process that you have to go through. But if supervisors are slow, I think it's within your responsibility to keep pushing, never stop pushing. I also went through the same process. I think all the supervisors also went through the same process. Because supervisors don't only have students, they have many different things to do. They have many different tasks. They got administrative, they got publication to write, they got students to supervise, bachelor's, master's, and PhD, and they got grants to write, and they got many different things to do. They got many different roles to play. So that is the nature of the work, lah. So it is within your interest to keep pushing, never stop pushing. Okay. So now from here, how long does it actually take for a review paper to get acceptance? How quickly papers can get published? Okay, this is very, very important for you to understand, because you can actually predict how much of time you should expect to get an acceptance. So this average timing I'm showing you. So this is one paper that we coached since 2023. Okay. So it took us 1 year, 3 months to actually go towards acceptance. Okay. 7 rejections. Okay. Systematic review paper as well. Okay. Customer loyalty, a systematic literature review, and future direction is in the Islamic financial industry. Very good journal. Taylor and Francis Cogent. Q2 Impact Factor 3.0, ESCI and Scopus as well. Systematic review. So you can see it can take more than a year sometimes. Then one more is Q1. This is from University of Warwick. Also, we coach the student for systematic review. Impact Factor 5.8, SCIE, Scopus as well. 0 rejection. That means direct submission to this journal, and the student managed to get acceptance. 9 months to acceptance. Okay, JMIR journal from Canada. This one is my own paper that I co-authored with many different authors from many different institutions. Okay, we did this together starting from 2022. Took us 2 years and 2 months to get acceptance. Okay, because of the impact that we were looking for. We were looking for Q1 only, nothing less than that. Web of Science Q1. Web of Science Q1 is different from Scopus Q1. Scopus Q1 doesn't mean it is also Web of Science Q1. That's not the case. But Web of Science Q1 is confirmed Scopus Q1. Okay. And this is another paper, also a PhD student, Q3 Impact Factor 0.6, Taylor and Francis, ESCI Scopus, Systematic Review, 2 rejections, 11 months to acceptance. Okay. So these are the timelines that you should expect, kind of. So as I say, it can take anything from 6 months to 1.5 years in average. Okay. So Mubarak, if I choose to write a scoping review, my subtopics for the review are modified by AI tool and all content is generated by myself. Will there be cost for alarm? Any of the very hard to answer actually. If it's picked up by Turnitin AI, I'll be worried for 2 things. Okay, if I were you, I'll be worried for 2 things. First, is it true? The information that you have extracted, whatever that the AI is giving you. Is it really true? All the references is giving you, all the literature, all the content you get from the paper, is it true? Okay, or did it wrongly modified it? Did it wrongly rewrote it? That is my first concern. Okay, ethics we leave one side. Okay, we'll come back to ethics part. Second concern will be Turnitin AI. The moment Turnitin AI or Authenticate, okay, journal usually use Authenticate, which is also part of Turnitin. So Turnitin got Authenticate, got Turnitin, got Originality. Okay, they have bought all these companies, all this software. So Authenticate used for journal. Turnitin used for university. Originality is also used for university. All of these use the same engine, same Turnitin engine. So Turnitin AI capability are the same across the board. Very, very powerful. Okay, nowadays, okay, especially nowadays, super powerful. All right. So these are the 2 concerns I have. Third concern will be ethics lah. Okay, ethics is something that you mindfully and heartfully should answer yourself, because it's your future. Okay, and your commitment to your supervisor and your degree. So that is, these 3 concerns is what I will be looking at. My first concern is always the first thing, context. Is it true or not? Second thing, Sharifa, how do we know the open access paper is counted as Scopus paper? You need to check in Scopus indexing. You go to scopus.com and look for it. Okay. Now, coming back to this, how do we normally coach students and academicians together? Sometimes you do combined coaching as well. We will go on the coaching mode. We'll build a comprehensive coaching guide. which we will guide through the writing process and publication process. We will include the literature, some literature that we read, we will share. And finally, after writing the paper, we'll review and give comments for improvement. Sometimes we do full consulting as well, content editing wherever required to teach them how to actually write it. Okay. Coming to methodology systematic review. Okay. There are Prisma, which has 27 items. Scoping review has 24 items. There are slight differences in the Prisma diagram. Prisma process for systematic review and scoping review. Okay. Then we have Ramses, which has 19 items, not really used widely. Okay. Then we have Roses. We used Roses in our paper recently. We experimented with Roses. It went very well. Okay. What is Prisma? Everyone say Prisma, 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 right? What is actually Prisma? Prisma is preferred reporting items for systematic reviews and meta-analysis. Okay, so Prisma, Prisma. Okay, started in 2009 by Mohe and now recently was updated to 2020. The latest release lah on Prisma. So this is Prisma Nightmare. This is what exactly Prisma will ask you to do. If you look at this, half of it you won't understand. Example, when the floor asks you to talk about data items, study risk of bias assessment, synthesis methods, eligibility criteria, all these are very complex items that you won't understand what the floor is asking. And then you'll have reporting bias assessment, certainty assessment, study selection, risk of bias in studies, reporting biases, certainty of evidence, competing interest we know lah. Okay, so these are 27 items Prisma protocol. If you really want to follow 100%, this is what you're supposed to follow. But no one actually follows because not all papers will have all the requirements. Not all the papers. Okay, so what you can do, before I go to the most simplified version, this is how the protocol diagram will look like, okay, for a complex Prisma diagram, Prisma processes. What I did was I simplified the whole process, okay. I've created a 12 steps process, which I personally follow also. First, I form research question, okay, or problems that will generate an interest for systematic review. I will then go and search on Google Scholar. I don't trust AI tools, so I don't search on AI tools because I know AI tools are not comprehensive and the flood doesn't tell the truth most of the time. The flood just, in Malaysian context, we call it goreng lah. The flood goreng information most of the time. Okay, the flood can only give you information based on the information the flood has trained with. Okay, not live information. So you won't get all the latest information and sometimes it makes up information. You can find that a lot in all AI tools. Some people say Perplexity don't hallucinate, don't give fake information compared to ChatGPT. That is not true. Perplexity will give you the same amount of fake information. Jenny AI will give you the same amount of fake information. Google Bard will give you the same amount of fake information. Why do I say so? Because all AI tools use transformer network. Okay, transformer network, not Transformers movie, yeah, transformer network. It's a model. It's an artificial neural network model. All of the models in this world, AI so far using only one type of model. That is called transformer model. They have not created a new model yet. Okay, because hallucination is not a big deal for them, but in academia, it's a big deal for us. Definitely a big deal. Okay, so that is where the contextual differences come into place. What is your application? If you're using it to write a letter, no problem. Hallucinate lah, doesn't matter. But when you do research, PhD, factuality is important. So then you need to be very careful of the information you take from AI. Okay, so now going back to search to validate the idea. Okay, validation here can be done in Google Scholar. You search for similar information, you make sure that the information is actually new, your systematic review. Don't make very similar research because systematic review will be very difficult to publish if it's very similar to previous paper. Step number 3, you set the inclusion-exclusion criteria based on research question and preliminary research. So inclusion-exclusion criteria, later I'll give you a template, you can check it out, or you can check out with inclusion-exclusion done in previous journals. You can see that as an example. That is where reading is important. Okay, so don't push your paper into AI machine and get the flow to read and vomit out the information, because then you don't read and you don't comb through essential information. That's where you miss out. And then you keep thinking, how do I do inclusion criteria? How do I do exclusion criteria? If you don't understand the logicality of the papers, you won't understand why they did that inclusion exclusion criteria. Okay? From there, use AI to read, it's okay. But when you want to fine comb, you want to have granular information from a paper, why they use this inclusion, why they use this exclusion, if I want to use it, can I use it or not? You need to read the papers. You need to go through line by line to understand the logicality behind those decisions. Okay, then step number 4, search strategy. Search strategy are the keywords that you use. Boolean operators, and or not, quotation mark, star, all those things. And what kind of filters you use. Okay. Then once that is done, you decide the databases you want to use and download all the bibliographic information, and you put into Mendeley or EndNote to remove duplicates. Mendeley, EndNote, or Zotero. All three will work. But you have to use a common library. You must create a library called Systematic Review, download from Web of Science, download from Scopus, download from Science Direct, PubMed, wherever lah. Download, put all into the same library. Let the metadata filter the duplication. Sometimes you won't filter 100%. You still need to go through. Okay, you still need to go through. Okay, then from there, write the protocol, which I shown you, the Prisma protocol. And if you need to seek for ethical clearance, please do. Don't miss on seeking ethical clearance. Nowadays, your journal, if you really need ethics, it relates to human-based research, you must have ethics. Very difficult to publish without ethics these days. Then start the screening process. You screen with title and abstract first. Remove all the papers not relevant by using inclusion exclusion criteria. Then you move to full text screening. Okay, that means example, you got 1,000 papers here. You go into abstract and title screening only. You don't read the paper, just title, abstract. You know already this is relevant or not. Then maybe you filter from 1,000, you only remain 200. 800 gone. It can be. It can be. Okay. Then from 200, this 200, you go through full text screening. Screening, please do it on your own. Please do. Okay. Don't trust tools. AI to AI PDF, Chat PDF, Perplexity, Jenny AI, all this. Use it as first layer. A lot of people might not accept this because they are coming into the research world with AI itself. I'm someone who is transitioning between traditional and AI based, so I can tell you the difference. Okay, the flow will miss out on essential information. Sometimes you will be excluding important papers wrongly. Okay, then the reviewers will come and blast you. Why you never include my papers? Why you never include these papers? Why you never include these papers? They are all relevant. You cannot tell my AI tool excluded it. Okay? So do the screening yourself. Be 100% confident of the work that you're doing. Excuse me. From there, if you want to do snowballing, you do. If you don't do also, it's still okay. Carry out quality assessment. I will do normally snowballing to get more papers. If you don't want to do, it's still okay. It's not wrong. Okay? Sorry. Quality assessment. Quality assessment is based on specific criteria decided by authors. So this one, you need to look at prior literature before you decide the quality assessment factors. And once all that done, a final paper will come in and start reviewing all the papers, the final papers, final set of papers, and produce literature matrix. Okay. Now, for those who are struggling to create research questions, okay, I'm going to show you an example with ChatGPT. Okay. I use ChatGPT. I don't use anything else. Okay, I'm a premium payer for AI. So I'm not someone who advocate careful usage of AI and then don't go and pay for premium usage. I pay every month for this premium version because I do use it, but I use it for specific purposes only. Okay, where to write about papers found by snowballing. You can add it into your flowchart if you want to, or you can explain in your methodology part. You can explain. Okay. So you can always create another branch. It's called as snowballing. Okay. So this protocol can be modified according to your process. Nothing to worry about that. Okay. Now this is a process that I underwent with one of the papers. This paper. Okay, it's one of my clients' paper. Datin Ellis. This. Yeah, this paper. Okay. So a conceptual framework of executive coaching in family business succession planning, the Malaysian context. So this student came to me in 2021. So we coached her proposal. She finished her proposal defense. Then she wanted to write the paper, everything on her own. She didn't want any coaching. She said, I want to try everything on my own. I said, okay, very good. I encourage that. Go ahead. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay. So once she started doing it, it took her 1 year and 7 months to get acceptance. Okay, not because the paper was poor. It's the kind of paper that she chose was too high impact, but she don't know the difference. So she got many rejections. All right. So along the way, she used ChatGPT to improve the paper, further improve proofread. She uploaded the whole paper into ChatGPT and so on. So this is the research question. Okay. Research question here. How would executive coaching contribute to business leadership transition to the next generation? Okay, again, how would executive coaching contribute to business leadership transition to the next generation? So what is basically being said is, how would coaching, like how I coach PhD students, how would coaching of a CEO to transit, to give that, no, to hand over their reign or their responsibility to the next generation very smoothly. Okay, that is a coaching process on its own. It's a very big area, executive coaching. Okay, so how will that transition take place smoothly to the next generation? That's the whole main topic of this paper. Okay. So I went to ChatGPT before this paper was published. Before this paper was published, I did an experiment because Alice did told me she used AI to study and everything. So I wanted to see contextually, is AI storing the information or not? Is ChatGPT storing the information or not? So I went back to here. I'm using I done this in April or March. The paper was published in May. It's not open access. Okay, it's free journal, not open access. So ChatGPT cannot access the full content. It cannot. It's firewalled already. But at least before acceptance, she was using GPT to proofread, to improve the content and so on. So this is ChatGPT 4. At that point in time when I did this experiment, there was no ChatGPT 4.0, only 4. So this is the premium version. So Alice submitted the paper, first journal, rejected. Second journal rejected. First in 2022, rejected. Then I think that was September 2022. Then December 2022, rejected again. February 2023, rejected again. Then she came back to me. Then we paraphrase. So within this 3 round itself, I think 5 rejections. Sorry, fourth rejection happened in, I think, April, within 1 month. Then she came to me for the fifth time. This particular journal, fifth time. We paraphrase and proofread again. We improve the overall explanation of the paper. Then she submitted. Took 1 year to review, and April accepted. Published in May or June. Okay, so the first 3 rounds, she mistakenly uploaded the whole paper into ChatGPT. Why I say mistake, I'll explain to you. Okay, so first I call this funnel prompting. Okay, you normally use funnel prompting. I go from broad to get the attention and slowly focus down to the specific area that I want to query. So that's why I start with Prisma for systematic review. Okay, so I start with that. Then from there, the floor give me all the information about Prisma, which is not really important, but I just want to get the first attention to a very specific focus on systematic review itself. Then I ask the floor, what would be the research question for the topic of executive coaching in family business succession planning? Same thing as what Alice had done. So I did this experiment before the paper came out. I wanted to check whether, is ChatGPT simply giving out information or not, or overall AI simply giving out your information to me or not. Okay, this is very, very high risk, so must be very careful. So these are the research questions given. So see, why use AI? Because of this. Okay, this the flow be able to give under one roof within one prompt. Not all, some of the research questions according to the themes. Okay, so this will tell you what kind of research question you can go and design. Okay, for your systematic, what kind of systematic review you can write. So here you can see for the first one, how effective is executive coaching enhancing leadership skills or potential successes in family businesses? What specific coaching techniques are most effective in preparing successors for leadership roles in family-owned businesses? Then you got succession outcome, communication, conflict resolution, cultural family dynamics. All these are good because the flow already categorizing for you. This is what you reading on your own will take time to do. So use this for these purposes. This is good, but you need to remember, okay, these RQ are not new. They are not new RQ. It's not creating an RQ for you. It is basically just taking RQ from another paper and rephrasing it and giving it to you. That's it. Or maybe combining this RQ and this RQ and then rephrasing and give it to you. Okay, why I say so? This first one is the RQ from Datin Ellie's paper. It's literally her own RQ. Before even the paper came out to public publication, public view, it was already there. This was April or March to this year, 2024. The paper only officially published in May or June. Okay, so that's why whatever information that you put onto AI, any AI platform, be very, very careful. Ask questions, extract information. Don't upload your information. The survival of AI is by training data that you are giving it, that it's recording from website and overall World Wide Web and also from you. Okay, so be careful of what you upload. Don't upload your RORQ, don't upload a problem statement, don't upload your framework, your variable, your theory, your methodology, your data, your results, your analysis. All these don't upload. Please do not upload. Okay, don't get into trouble. Because me just simply prompting here can get the information already. So imagine if you're just starting now and someone else got the information and therefore start writing paper because therefore cannot find it online. If you take these topics, right, okay, you can find most of it online in one of those papers in Google Scholar, rephrased and put it here. So that means, how do I use this? See, you need to understand these are all done cases. But what is not done is combining these ideas. No one had combined executive coaching, enhancing leadership skills with communication as well. Okay, communication style, no one had combined before. This combination not done before. And no one had talked about culture and leadership. Okay, how does the coaching helps in that? No one spoke about it. Gender also, no one spoke about it. So these are the different values that you can combine together to create new idea. So that's why you need to take it and still do your own study on how to create new RQ. Your brain still required to process this information. Don't just copy and paste and start writing because these ideas already published already or already in the process to publish already. Okay, so be very, very careful. So this is how you can prompt to get information. And after you get the information, this is how you can combine the values together to create new relative outcomes, new ideas. Okay, all right. So simple. You take this, go to Google Scholar, search, you'll find something similar. Definitely you will find. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Now from there, for once RQ established ready, next part, selection of databases. Go based on prior SLR recognized databases, prior SLR papers. You need to see what databases they use, and then get your supervisor or co-author to advise. And always stick with databases that provides high impact research. Okay. Then inclusion exclusion criteria. Now, some supervisors will say, I need more papers. I want you to review 100 papers minimum. Okay. Actually, to be honest, there is no such thing. It all comes down to your inclusion criteria, exclusion criteria. You want more papers, put more inclusion. If you want less papers, you want very precise, then reduce the inclusion. So this template, I have given how to balance it both in my Telegram group. You can download and look at it. Okay, so it's here. Here, this template. You can download and use it from here. Okay. All right. So once you have downloaded, once you have used inclusion already, you already know these are the papers I'm going to use. End of the day, then you can use this template to summarize every paper. You can either use this or use software. It's up to you totally. It's your call. But this is a traditional template that I normally follow. I already shown an example. I've already put in all the requirements of when you summarize a paper, and I've given one example already, how you can summarize and how you can basically create potential gap. Once you summarize all these for every paper, that goes into literature matrix. Okay, literature matrix. So I'm also going to share what are the AI tools that I find a bit reliable that you can actually look into. Okay, so let's go to that. So databases, what databases entirely to use in this world for research, these are all of it, I've summarized it. You can also download this template in my Telegram group. I've given live links to the databases. Starting, of course, you must have Web of Science and Scopus. These two you must have. Then you can choose the rest, whether Google Scholar, Archive, Ulrich, Science Direct, Direct Open Access, JS Store, up to you. Then subject specific, okay, medical, engineering, social science. These are all the ones. So I've put all of it into the template. Help yourself, okay? Now, coming to AI tools that I find not too bad so far. And I don't sell the software. I don't do affiliate marketing. I don't do any of it because I still don't find any of them reliable. Though I'm getting a lot of offers to sell the software, given that I have more than 300,000 followers across different platforms. Very, very interesting amount of money, but I still don't want to because of hallucination, because none of it can really prove that it doesn't generate fake information. Okay. So example, Jenny AI asked me to promote the video in my TikTok, which is almost hitting 70,000 followers, and all my Facebook about 160,000 followers and so on. They're willing to pay me about 2 to 2,500 USD per video. Okay. But I didn't want. I turned down the offer. I didn't want to do. Okay. Because it's not right. Okay. I don't want to promote a software that is that is giving fake information. Okay. So these are the ones that I find to be okay. Lead maps, because it just generate connected graphs or connected papers kind of thing. Okay. But remember, it's still limited in terms of bibliography. It's not comprehensive. You still need to do your own research. Consensus is not bad. Elicit is not bad. Okay. But still, again, don't trust 100%. Do your own homework. Advantages, widespread databases, not too bad. Can analyze a paper for you, can even draw literature matrix, can generate beautiful literature connectivity graphs. I think all of you know this already. You guys are better experts than me. Disadvantages, not hallucination proof. That means fake information, prone to happen. Prone to happen. Not cheap, not accepted as a database and SLR paper, at least for now. You cannot code these AI tools in as part of database. So many choices, while Google Scholar is totally free, Web of Science and Scopus, paid by your university. So, yeah. And none of the AI tools can ever access subscription-based journals. That means your typical Elsevier, Taylor Francis, all the top impact papers, which is very crucial. Then you might ask, hey, how come Consensus Elicit can give me the information? They only read the abstract. They are giving you literature review based on abstract only, not the full paper. Okay? So if you think literature review just with abstract is enough, then it's enough. If you think it's not enough, then it's not enough. So it's your decision. Okay? So then, this is Web of Science, the most important database that you must have in your systematic review and also your thesis. Must have. Make sure you use this. Okay? I didn't have the time to go through Web of Science today, unfortunately. Maybe next year classes, I'll go through. So when to write SLR paper? We're almost towards the end already. So in proposal stage, after your chapters 1 to 3, you can write concept paper, or before chapter 1 to 3, you can write scoping paper. And after chapter 1 to 3, you can write SLR paper. So these two, you can write ultimately during a chapter 1 to 3 itself. I would encourage that because you can fulfill your requirements very fast. After your proposal, you go to your thesis stage, you can write empirical paper, SLR meta-analysis, scoping review. If you're a person who wants to publish more papers, then you can do all those things. Okay, if you say, no, I just want to fulfill my requirements, then do this or do this and this. Just two papers. Okay? Okay, how important is proofreading? Okay, this is true transformation. Good content with bad language or not so clear language that no one can understand. Despite the language being clear, but the context is not clear, no one can understand or appreciate the value of your research. On the other hand, if you have bad content, but only with good language, readers are happy, but there is no value. So what you need to have is both good content and good language so the readers will appreciate the value and love to read. So that is what we normally do when it comes to paraphrasing, proofreading, editing, and structuring. This is what we do to Dr. Hero's paper. Okay, his review article published in Springer Environmental Science and Pollution Research. SCI Q1 Impact Factor 5.8. This is one of the paper that from Dr. Hero that we worked on. There are many, many papers. Okay. All right. So that is that. And for thesis and proposal, we do offer ultimate thesis package up to 30% off. This is only for students who attend my classes. I'll normally advertise this. So proofreading, translation, formatting services, a lifetime language warranty will be provided, whether for your thesis, for your journal, and so on. All that I'll answer in a while in your chat box. So these are the free notes I'm going to give you today, all of you, not today, in this coming few weeks. Developing and applying a protocol of systematic review in social sciences. Rose's reporting standards. This is good for your thesis or journal. And a very, very good sample paper. Soft and hard TQM practices. Future research agenda for Industry 4.0. This is a good paper to look at if you want to do systematic review in social science, management, and so on and so forth. This is a very good paper to read. This is a good sample to follow. Okay. So apart from that, what do we do apart from proofreading? What to do if you are stuck? Okay, this is our recent achievement, PhD with zero correction, award-winning PhD, UTM, this is UM. What we normally do is coaching and consultancy. PhD proposal consultancy, Scopus Web of Science publication, proposal defense preparation will give mock defense to students, proposal defense examiner response will teach students how to respond to the comments. We'll make sure that they respond to every comment. Data analysis interpretation, most of the softwares will be covered. Qualitative, quantitative, and experimental, and computer science as well. Thesis to journal conversion for more journals. Okay, if you want to. Viva preparations, and finally, thesis examiner response after Viva. So these two are publication. The rest are all master's, PhD, proposal, and thesis process. Okay, so this is what we coach and consult, the areas that we work on. Okay, so with that, next year classes more or less decided already. We'll be announcing very soon. Okay, so thank you very much. So let me just quickly answer. Can you repeat the summary of papers? Yeah, sure. Wait, let me just do that very quickly. Okay, here. So here you have a split point, proposal, and thesis. Okay, proposal from your chapters 1 to 3 lah. You can write concept paper, SLR paper. Before your chapters 1 to 3, let's say you're someone who wants to write paper very early into your PhD, scoping review. Okay, these are all during proposal stage. Once you already hit your thesis stage, you can write your empirical paper, data lah, because you already have data, right? SLR meta-analysis and scoping review from your future work. All right? So, Telegram. Okay, Telegram, you can get it from here. All my links can be retrieved from this one link. You can connect everywhere. So if there's any question, now is the time to ask, or otherwise we can end the class.